episode of Inspiring Youth. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge, and this is the show where we showcase ambitious youth and the community partners that work with them. And today we're going to take a look at music. And I know we've had a lot of music. I love music. We always have music on the show. I meet a lot of musicians. But you know, we've talked a lot in the past about where musicians, how they start learning their instruments, what they do. But what happens when you get past that? What happens when you are working as a professional musician, you're now writing your own material or the material of your group, and you're wondering where do you go to get it published? Where do you go to get the songs engineered? How does that all work? And so we're going to talk today to Daniel Walton, who is a young musician who started about 5 years ago in the industry. He's writing his own material. He plays in a couple bands. He's been going across the country, doing gigs all across the country. And so I talked to Daniel over Zoom to find out all about his career and how he got started as a young musician.
That's a good question. So I play in two groups. I do my band that I front and sing in with is called Woolly Mantis.
Yep.
And we're like a progressive rock band.
Okay.
Very inspired by the likes of, early Yes, Genesis and Rush.
Yeah.
We're really into the 70s prog rock.
Yeah.
And on my solo project, which is just my name, Daniel Walton, that's more like singer-songwriter, contemporary folk, jazz. Sometimes it's all over the map. But I really just try to draw from all kinds of different influences. Yeah. Whether it be, like I said, progressive rock, jazz music. I'm really into R&B music as well. And my first love was like folk music. So.
You've got it all. You've crossed all the genres. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been playing music? Because you're not just you're from Burlington. I'm in Burlington. We've never met. I hope we will meet at some time. But it's not that big a community. But I just saw you were in LA, I think, in October or something. Like, how long have you been playing music? You're not just a small town guy.
Hey, thanks. I've been playing guitar since I was 13 years old. I'm 25 now, so that's about 12 years.
Yeah.
And I started taking it really seriously when I was in my first year of college in 2012. So it's been about 8 years of trying to play professionally. Okay. I've been playing gigs since I was in grade 12, and after my first year of college, my band was playing Sound of Music and just working in all kinds of different bands and different genres through the years. Yeah. When I started to take music to the next step, which is when I went to Mohawk College, I studied improvising and jazz music there. Yeah. That's where I met my bandmates, and that's where it really started to take it to the next level with.
So you do a ton of stuff. You're a talented musician. I've seen you play many times. Apparently, you do other stuff behind the scenes.
That is a matter of opinion.
Well, it's my opinion, and that works. So this show, we've got young people on here wondering how you go about producing a record. Where do you go to produce a record? Is that what you do? Is that some of the
that's part of what I do. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do with in terms of music, and like we were discussing earlier, one of the things when you're talking about young musicians, one thing I always tell young musicians is it's the music business is two words. Somebody said this to me when I joined the Musicians Union in my teens, and it stuck with me, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things. The music business is two words. Yeah. What's the bigger word? Business. Yeah. Understanding exactly how business works. Right. I'm a big fan of a guy on YouTube right now called Rick Beato. Okay. And Rick Beato, he's got all sorts of great things where he'll break down hit songs and tell you why. Right. The math behind and the science behind why the song was a hit. Yeah. I watched this one the other day where he did More Than a Feeling by Boston, which of course is one of the unbelievable, great songs. Yeah. And I had the good fortune of singing on one of the Boston records, which was awesome. It's a platinum record right there.
Yeah, nice.
But Rick Beato also does a thing about the music business and like how the music business works. Yeah. And I think things like this are very important for young people getting into the business to understand how the business works and how the new business works. Because the business obviously has changed.
Yeah, for all of us in any job.